Hello, ladies. Hello, hello, hello. All right. As I'm pinning this to the top of our Facebook group, macro tracking and weightlifting for women, make sure you're there. I'll share the topic. So today we're going to talk through avoid this fatal mistake when training upper body, this fatal physique mistake when training upper body. I have made this mistake myself. I used to be a body pump instructor when I was an in-person trainer, and I was also Olympic weightlifting with Oregon State. And I remember I got to a really low body fat percentage, and I was like, why do I look like this? Like, I took pictures and I was shredded, like I was so fit, but I took pictures and I was like, that's not that cute. I just didn't feel great. And over the years, so I've been a trainer for about 15 years, but we've been online for about 4.5. But Queens of Iron is about to have its 4th birthday. So in the last about 4 years, I could say I've probably heard a good 500 times women say, I got to my goal weight and I don't like what my body looks like. I'm like, oh, I've so been there. So I want to share with you why that is and what to do to avoid it. And I always reference my notes. Okay. So let's see. Okay. Yeah. So you may not be at your goal yet. So it's a really good time for you to hear this. But if you're at your goal and you're like, I love my muscles, I love the things, but I'm just not looking or feeling quite how I want, this is really for you. And this is kind of how to reverse that. Okay. You've built a great foundation. It doesn't take a lot to change it, but it does require physique shaping, right? We talk about that all the time. Okay, so the problem is not knowing where your volume is going, right? Actually, we just had a woman post about her calves in the group. She was like, oh, I can't get my calves to grow. It's like, girlfriend, you just need more volume on them, right? The sweet spot for growth is typically 10 to 24 sets per week, okay? Anything below or usually around 10 is like maintenance for your muscles. And so let's say you're hitting calves twice a week, 4 sets of whatever. Well, that's only 8 sets for the week, so you can't really expect them to grow, right? So we've seen research taking it past 24 sets, and I follow Brett Contreras quite a bit in terms of hypertrophy. He's great at hypertrophy, and he's shown that past 24 sets, at least as of today, right, at least in the current research, there's not a lot of benefit. There is something called the law of diminishing returns, and so it's like if you use it too much, sometimes it's like you're not allowing it to recover. And so the sweet spot that he suggested and that we go by at Queens of Iron is 10 to 24 sets is really beautiful for growth, for actual growth. Remember though, ladies, you can't do that for every muscle, every phase, right? So for us, a phase of training is like 4 weeks, for example. You can't do it for every single muscle because there's not enough time in the day, first of all. So don't feel like you have to hit them all at one time. Just be strategic about when you're hitting them and how. Okay. All right, that was a little in the weeds, so let me keep going. So what happens with those of you doing group fitness and just more like general programs, those are awesome. General fitness, that's awesome. But they're not shaping your physique because that's not what it's designed for, right? They didn't do anything wrong. It's just not what they designed it for. It's designed to move your body, to use your muscles, and to break a sweat. And it does that very, very well, right? But to get to where a lot of you are wanting to get to, which is I feel amazing in my body and my physique is fit and feminine and strong and I feel so good in my body. That requires the next level training, not just group fitness, right? Otherwise, if you looked around, everyone would look amazing. A lot of people do group fitness. Okay, cool. Now, for the woman who works out in the gym or at home, but you're doing your own workouts or you're doing a non-tailored online program, right? So just like a more general online program, it's the same problem. It's volume, right? What we see a lot, because some women share their programs with me just to get feedback. I'm like, oh, here's the situation. And what I see almost every time, and I could probably say every single time, depending on their goal, they're lacking volume. Their program doesn't actually match their goal. For example, ladies they have arm day where you're training arms, right? There's so much arm movement in your week because I understand you want to create that fit, beautiful, toned arm. But in reality, more volume should be going to your shoulders and definitely your back. But ladies, your shoulders, I think, get kind of thrown under the rug. There's just not enough volume on shoulders. But arms are the secondary mover and tertiary mover in a lot of different movements, right? Think about like a pull-up. You're obviously using your arms in a pull-up. Hopefully the primary mover is your lats, right? And your back if you have proper form, but your arms are still required to work, which means the muscles are working, breaking down and growing, right? As long as your nutrition's on point and like the other things are on point. So you don't need to keep packing on more and more and more volume to your arms, because otherwise what happens, and this was what I did too, I had like no shoulder and I had massive biceps and like big muscular arms. And I was like, that is just not a good look. It's not even safe though. You know what I mean? Our shoulders protect our shoulders are everything, right? And so if your biceps can lift more than your shoulders and your body can actually like carry, then a shoulder injury is probably going to occur. So it's not even smart health and fitness wise, but it's also not very smart physique wise, right? And so instead of having so much arm day in there, it's like, okay, sure, sprinkle a couple sets. Like sometimes our women will go 6 months, they never do an arm exercise one time, yet their arms are jacked. So how is that? They're at a low enough body fat percentage that their muscles are showing. And again, we've already been working those arms just in a different way. You guys, we do a lot of push-ups. Your push-ups use your triceps, right? Your push-ups will grow your triceps as long as there's enough volume on there. We don't have to sit and do a ton of tricep work. Do we sometimes? Sure. Depends on what the woman needs, depends on where she's at, right? But seriously, I think I went like 2 years without ever doing a single arm exercise and my arms looked great. But again, it's because of low enough body fat percentage and because it's the shoulders. It's really the shoulders and your back and your chest. Like your arms are working there. Okay. Shoulders are everything, you guys. This was like a total game changer. Really, when I figured this concept out, I was like, we've been doing it wrong for so long. So I want to share this with you from the top of my lungs. Okay. All right. Another quick thing here, you guys. So under here, so many of you don't like, right? Don't just bust out a bunch of tricep work. Dial in your macros, dial in your habits. The fat will go away. Training your rear delt, so the back of your shoulder, is really beautiful for that as well. Yeah, Charles, I'm telling you, yeah. Oh, it's so common. And it is like the worst, one of the worst things to hear. I got to my goal weight and I don't like what my body looks like. I'm like, oh, love, come here. We just need to reshape. And that's all it is every time. We need to reshape. Yeah. I've shown a lot of different pictures of different programs and stuff, so I won't do that today. But physique shaping is very life changing. For those of you who've never heard of physique shaping, it's literally what they do in bodybuilding, right? Bikini competitions, fitness competitions. We just sandwich it with like really healthy living, really healthy habits, and that way you can maintain your results forever. You're at a healthy body fat percentage, but you can still get pretty shredded. I like to see my abs year round, or I don't feel that comfortable in my body. It's not to be vain. It's because that's where I feel best. That's where I feel most myself, most comfortable in my clothes. And that's where I choose to live, right? You can choose where you want to live. It requires dialed in macros, the right lifting routine, and then your habits to maintain it. That way you're never like going back to something. Like just make that your life, right? It's not as hard as some of you might think. Okay. Let me get back on track here. Let me see if there's anything else that I want to share here. Yeah, cool. One more time, emphasis on shoulder work. All three parts of your shoulder, right? You want to do the front of your delt, the side of your delt for sure. The side of your delt is like what creates like shape in your arm. And then you want to do the back of your delt as well, of course, for aesthetics, but also to make sure that you have a strong rotator cuff. Okay, cool. There must be intention behind everything, right? It's not just if I get to a low enough body fat percentage, I'm going to love my body. That would be really cool. But you're lifting, yes, it takes intention in the gym or at home, wherever you train. It also takes intention in your program design. It's not just squatting, deadlifting, shoulder pressing. Those things are amazing, but it's like, but why are you doing that? Oh, it's a good exercise. It is, but like, why else? Why is it in your program right there? Why are you doing that much of it? If you don't know those questions, results are being left on the table. You should have a why behind every single thing you do. And if not, well, you can ask. We could chat about it right now. But seriously, you got to know. You got to know, or results are just being left on the table, right? So we're happy to help too if you want to chat. Okay, cool. All right, ladies, great. That's all I have for today. Any questions or anything that you guys want to talk about before I jump off for the day? And enjoy the beautiful sunshine. Oh my gosh, it's amazing what it does for the mood to like not be in the rain every day, but actually have sun on my face. I'm like, oh, thank you, Jesus. All right, ladies, cool. Well, I hope this helps you rethink your program, because oh my gosh, your time is so valuable. Let's spend every workout building the body that you want rather than like rolling the dice and really hoping you like it at the end. I've never heard of that working so far. So, all right, ladies, cool. Here for you if you need anything. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you later. Happy Monday.